Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. Let me keep getting set up here, and then we will be ready to go. So, hello, hello, welcome, everybody. Should I do this sideways? Will that work? Let me see. It said orientation is locked. Return my device the other way. Okay. Well, anyway, welcome to everyone who's here or everyone who will be watching this. This is Taliko Vima English, and I am Jonathan. And we are a community that helps grow your fluency. Today's topic is really important to me, but also to our community because many people have reasons why their fluency is not growing or developing. But those reasons, if they're not addressed, can become excuses. And excuses can prevent you from getting to the place where you want to be, where you deserve to be with your English fluency. So, we're going to be going over this topic today. We had a live stream about it during our Hello Talk live stream. We touched on it briefly, but I told everyone I would come here and then go over all eight of the reasons that can become excuses for your English fluency development. It's really important. You can, of course, apply this to other areas of your life. Many of us have reasons that become excuses in other areas of our lives. I used to say that to people I would lead in the military. Give me your reason, but don't let it become an excuse. So reasons become excuses if you don't do anything about it. For example, if you had a reason for not going to college because you couldn't afford it, that would be a reason. But if you didn't go to college and people asked you why you didn't go to college, you would use that as your excuse. So the reason would be you didn't have money to go to college, but you need to look into grants and try to find a way or work a job and get there. That would be overcoming that reason. And the same thing with English fluency or anything else in your lives. There are reasons, legitimate reasons, but they become excuses if you don't work hard to overcome them. So we're going to be breaking it down here. If you can stay the whole time, great. We'll have questions at the end. If you can't, I'm going to leave this full version up on our channel and I will make shorts out of it. There are eight reasons that can become excuses if you don't do anything about it. Let me tell you what they are to give you a teaser here. Lack of practice could be a reason why your English isn't growing the way you want it to or the way it should. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of making mistakes can be a reason. Limited vocabulary can be a reason why you're not understanding English or able to express yourself in English. Poor study habits can be a reason why your English isn't growing. Lack of motivation or clear goals, that's a big one. That's a big one. Using the wrong resources, that happens a lot. People apply high school and college approaches to something that's different when you're adults. And finally, um, no feedback or correction. And number eight would be inconsistent environment. So we're going to go one by one on these. And again, if you don't have time for this today, if it's not that exciting for you and you're like, I'll watch it later when I can fast forward, that's fine. That's fine, guys. But we're going to capture this in this recorded time today. I will welcome your questions in the text. And then later I'll edit it and make it shorter for some of you who are really busy. Hey, Jay, welcome. Good to see you. So, the first reason that can become an excuse for your English fluency not developing is lack of practice. Lack of practice. In speaking, you're not using English a lot. They'll say to me, hello, guys. They'll say to me, hey, Jonathan, I don't have anyone to speak English with. I'm speaking my native language all day. And because of that, I'm not able to develop my English fluency. So that's a real reason. But you can use English in other ways during the day. We're going to talk about that. Writing. My writing is terrible, but I don't have the ability to write. I'm not writing letters. I don't use writing at work. Well, you can use a journal. You can write your messages, your text messages in English. You can also practice composition in using dialogue and other things. See, there are ways to diffuse, diminish, or get rid of altogether, delete these reasons. And once they're out of the way, your English can soar, right? So, lack of practice in speaking, you can speak your thoughts or your actions. For example, you're around your home, and this can apply to any language you're learning, guys. You can be speaking your thoughts. Man, what am I going to do today? I need to go do this. I need to go wash the car. I have to go to work later. I need to go shopping for that one particular ingredient for this weekend. See, you're putting words to your thoughts, which will help you to use your English. Another thing you can do is speak your actions. I'm going to the kitchen to cook breakfast. I'm going to the kitchen to clean the dishes, to wash the dishes, to wash the pots and pans. That's an example that you can be verbalizing some of the things you're doing during the day, which is giving you use or voice to your English. Listening and reading exposure is really important. And again, if you're limited in your countries, some of the people on our language app say they don't have access to this channel, to YouTube. Well, it's okay because now we're uploading to different social media in their country, in their area that they do have access to. But don't allow these reasons to become excuses. Find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Have you guys heard that before? Where there's a will, there's a way. So if your lack of practice of speaking, writing, and listening is your reason that you're holding on to, then consider the things I just talked about. Implement those things and see if that takes away the reason and prevents it from becoming an excuse, right? The second thing on our list here today, and I welcome those of you who are staying. You can type me questions in the chat as you think of them so that we don't lose track. I might even write them down so that I can answer them towards the end, or I might pause to answer them here during the live stream. The second one, this is a big one. This is a big one. Fear of making mistakes. How many of you is fear a factor? Have you been paralyzed because you haven't analyzed? Paralysis by analysis. It rhymes. So paralysis without analysis. So if you don't analyze it and look at it and come up with a plan to take away some of those dynamics, then you will be frozen in fear. You have a fear of embarrassment. It can block you from even trying to write or speak in English. People are afraid they don't even come to our stage sometimes because they're so afraid of failure or of being embarrassed and saying the wrong thing. Unbeknownst to them, I look for those opportunities when people are struggling because it tells me they're making progress in their pathway to fluency. I don't let them stay there too long, but it's a sign that they've gotten to the end of their known English, or if they're trying to find this particular word, then they'll search. They'll go, what is that word? And then they'll find it, and it will become more available the next time they need it. So I like seeing those things. I like seeing those things in people when they come on stage. Fear of making mistakes. Are you a perfectionist? If you are a perfectionist and you won't do anything unless you can do it perfectly, yeah, about that, right? That could be holding you back. They don't try English and they're not going to do it until they're ready. Well, guess when ready happens? Yeah, rarely or not at all. So getting it out there is important. Think about if you were wanting to be a cook. Think about it. You can conceptualize all you want. You can watch the TV shows, you can read the books, but unless you get in there and start putting the ingredients together, experiencing the heat, the timing of cooking, all the different types of foods, you're not going to really develop the time management, the confidence that you need to develop when you're getting into cooking. So with English, it's the same way. Whatever English you have, use it. Find reasons to use it. Record yourself using it. Talk about what you're thinking or doing. Use it. And that way you can build your confidence and give shape to it. But you have to start assembling it. You can't wait till it's perfect. The same thing with who you're speaking with. Don't wait for a native speaker. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Use it with everyone who is available. Use it to help other people to level up, and then use it to engage in other activities. Use it. So don't let fear of making mistakes hold you back from developing your English. One more thing, think about this, guys. In your life, in my life, in everyone's lives, teacher Steph has to correct me on that. In everyone's life, in everyone's lives, I don't know. Um, we make way more mistakes than perceived victories. That's the way we grow, is you make a mistake, you regroup, you adjust. Hi, Annie. You regroup, you adjust, and you try again, right? In sports, it's the same way. How many times do you think that your basketball hero missed the shot? Missed it, adjust it, reshot. Missed it, adjust, reshot. Until he or she got it to a place of consistency. And then they moved over here and took the shot. And then they moved over here and took the shot, right? Eventually, they had so many different refined approaches to taking a shot that those hundreds or thousands of things all went through their mind in the middle of the game. Forward, come back, take the shot. So, with you and your English, take the shot, adjust, take the shot again, use your English. Oh, wow, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. You should help me with that, Annie. That would be great. But here I like it because there's a lot less interaction in some ways, and I can't see people. I don't have that dynamic. So thank you, Annie. The number three thing is limited vocabulary. Limited vocabulary. Without enough words, it's hard to understand or express your ideas clearly. Without recognizing enough words, it's hard to understand what people are saying to you. So this can be a reason, but you need to take a strategic and consistent approach to it. And we have a number of these approaches in our community in Toledo Vima English. You can comment on this video and I'll be happy to share them with you or make a video about it for you. But acquiring new useful English that's easy to remember when you need it, again, some of our other approaches. Don't let that reason become an excuse. Increase your vocabulary, increase your listening comprehension. There are methods, and we're going to get into that. Actually, it's the next one. It's the next one. Some of these are longer than others, and some of them overlap. So the next one is poor study habits. Many of you are using your approach from high school and college in your adult life. You're using the approach of high school and college in your adult life to develop your English. And though some aspects of that approach can be beneficial, many of them are not appropriate for why you're learning English. For example, your English vocabulary in high school was about garbage in, garbage out, or memorize before the exam, recognize on the exam, move forward. Very little retention, just ingest, digest, express, right? Well, when you're trying to learn English for usage, you're trying to use English in your daily life, your professional life, your private life, then you need to make a better connection between what you're learning and how it's used so that when you need it, it is there. You're not just composing out of outer space. You're actually bringing up a file of things that are there for your use. So, using the proper study approach can be very useful for you. It says no consistent schedule. Consistency is key. I would argue that you can develop your English or whatever your target language is with 15 minutes a day of consistent practice. It's about consistency that will help you develop. But if you're only doing it for one day here and one day there, it's going to be a reason why your English is not developing, and it's going to become the excuse of why you did not develop your English. Relying on cramming instead of long-term exposure and repetition. So, to the point I mentioned earlier, cramming for exams is different than learning for life, right? You cram for exams because you're trying to um, accomplish what is set for you in that particular strategy. But in recalling, remembering, and using English in everyday life, you need to attach it to phrases you already use, or you need to give it context through a story that makes sense to your everyday life, or you need to practice it in dialogue that potentially could happen, dialogue that may happen between you and a coworker or may happen in a cafe where you're at. So this attachment to appropriate environments and situations and topics is crucial to learning and retaining and recalling vocabulary. Here's number 5. You guys ready? Hello, hello. Welcome, Queer. Welcome. It's good to see you there. So number 5 of our 8 on this list. Number 5 is lack of motivation or clear goals. Lack of motivation or clear goals. If you're doing the um, cramming version of learning, it's going to drain you. It's going to make you feel depleted. At least in school, when you crammed, you had an exam, you had a sense of accomplishment. When you're cramming to learn English for usage, and you don't have a situation that accesses or demands from that practice, you can feel like it's to no avail, that you're studying for no real purpose. If you see the results in your ability to communicate, you'll be more encouraged. It will fuel you. If you remind yourself of the reason of why you're studying, this will also fuel you. You need a source of fuel, and it's not going to be through occasional tests or midterm exams or final exams or graduating to another class or with another degree. So you need a source of fuel so that you do not lose your motivation. One of those things can be SMART goals, SMART. You have a long-term goal of wanting to be fluent in English, right? See the way I blocked my face? You want to be fluent in English. That's a long-term goal. You need short-term goals that are digestible for everyday's purposes. These are called SMART goals, SMART. You can look it up a little deeper, and our other videos go into it in more depth, but it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relative or related to your long-term goal, and time bound, which means you have a limited amount of time to accomplish this. Think about SMART goals, look them up, look on our channel, find videos about it. Specific, measurable. If you can't measure it, how do you know if it's working? Right? Achievable. You have nothing to celebrate unless you know that you've made an achievement. Specific, measurable, achievable. related and time bound. Going to learn 5 to 10 new words a week, using them in dialogue, understanding their context and stories each week. 5 new words that I am likely to use in my everyday life. And at the end of that week, you're going to have those 5 or 10 words locked in without a doubt. Yeah. Lack of motivation or clear goals. If there's no clear reason for learning, it's easy to lose interest. Goals that are too vague or far away can feel overwhelming and unsatisfied. So, lack of motivation or clear goals with your English, this little phone call in the middle of recording, lack of motivation or clear goals. So, using the wrong resources. Someone mentioned earlier in our other live stream that their resources contained words that were too big for them, and it became discouraging because the words were way too big for them to understand, comprehend, and use in everyday language. So that resource was too far ahead for them. It was too advanced. um, there could be resources that you have access to that are not formatted to your form of learning, right? What is your type of learning? I'm a very vocational interactive learner. I think many people are. Other people are more didactic learners or formal curriculum or written text. You need to know what combination of things intrigues you, interests you, maintains your focus and engagement, gets the most out of your time spent. And by learning that, then you will have a more appropriate information source. Sorry, I just got noticed that I'm about to lose here. So let's get that attached. There we go. So, what kind of study material are you using? What resources are you using? That's really important. And if you're part of our community, we like it where community shares with one another those resources. It's not about holding on to resources, it's about sharing resources, right? That is the number 6 thing, using the wrong resources, the wrong approach to learning. The number 7th thing that we're going to talk about today here on this live stream is that you don't, the reason that becomes an excuse is you don't have enough feedback. People will say, I need a native speaker in order for me to develop my English. It's not true. It's not true. You need somebody with feedback, somebody you trust, somebody who will give you proper feedback. That can be a study partner. Um, Without knowing what's wrong, it's hard to improve. Without hearing the difference between how you sound now and what you want to sound like, it's really hard for your brain to conceive it. So, in those cases, you record yourself saying a sentence and you listen to a recording side by side of someone else saying that same sentence, and your brain can compare, it can contrast, and it can grow and learn. You become a self corrector, which is wonderful to be able to correct yourself. And if you have self study without speaking partners or teachers, then you limit your growth. Speaking partners can be excellent for many things. They can be partners that encourage you on days when you don't want to do something because they'll ask you to help them. They can also be a more true source of feedback because they know you, they know where you've been, they know your progress, and they can say, you're getting better. Your vocabulary is getting better, I noticed. Your pronunciation is sounding more native. Really? Yes. Wow. Good job. They can also bring in accountability. Hey, for 2 days now, you haven't picked up an English book. You said you were going to study for 15 minutes every day. What's going on? You're right, you're right, I did say that. Okay, okay, I'll get back on track, right? So it's important to have that kind of community and to have feedback and careful correction. Now, the number 8 thing that we're gonna talk about in this video today, this live stream video, is having an inconsistent environment. You're not living or working in an English speaking setting, or you have a lack of immersion or real world use. This is a reason for some of you. Maybe in your countries, it's not even normal for people to speak English if they are from the country you live in. And it could be you're thinking, Jonathan, I'm speaking my native language at work all day. I come home, my family speaks my native language. I have no ability to interact or have an environment where I can be immersed. Well, if that's your excuse, I can't do anything about it. But if that's your reason, we can get creative and find new ways for you to challenge yourself when you're at home and at work that can give the same effect of having that immersion or that constant demand on your brain. So when you hear all of these today, think about which one of these registers the most with you. Which one of these registers the most with you? And you can leave a comment in the messages here in the chat, or you can even leave it here. But which one of these registers with you the most? I'm curious. Let me know. And of course, those of you who are still tuned in live, I'll give you a minute or so to ask me any questions you want in the chat. And if not, we'll conclude this and leave it available for you to look at. We talked about 6 reasons that can prevent you from having success with English and how to prevent them from becoming an excuse. Yeah. I have no way of seeing who's here, but if you're still here and you have a question for me, feel free to answer it. I know someone's tapping, so I'm grateful for that you're tapping the likes. But do you have any questions about your English growth and development or your fluency? All right, well, with that, we're going to end this and allow it to be live. Steph, hi. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good to see you. I'm finishing up. It's only an hour or a half an hour. Tell you the word smoke screen. Do you mean how to use it? Because it's more of a oh, you just got here, Steph? Yeah, I wish you could come up on stage. Um, but a smoke screen is a slang term, and it implies what it's illustrating. Um, yeah, of course. Let me see. Let me ask the best way to apply that phrase real quick. Yeah, it's a metaphor, of course. Um, okay. The new tax reform proposal was just a smokescreen to distract from the corruption scandal. So, describe something that's intended to hide the truth or distract attention or cover up someone's real intention. Um, you can say that with other people. Oh, it's just a smokescreen. Like it's not real. It'll disappear. It's a fake position or that kind of thing. Yeah. Does that make sense? Oh, nice. Yes, you need 50, 50 followers or subscribers. Actually, tell me the name of your channel. I'll subscribe to you. That'll be one. I am. Absolutely, Ahmed. I was on Hello Talk this morning at 6 a.m. my time. That's our normal time. I think Ahmed, you may have met me when I was on vacation, when I was transitioning, and I was doing a live stream on Hello Talk in the afternoon. Yesterday, I did a voice room on Hello Talk in the afternoon. But yeah, of course, we're on Hello Talk most of the time. Hello, hello, Anas. Welcome. It's so funny. I just taught this, and now everyone is showing up. Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. try to log in, and Steph can talk to me on my cell phone. Or that's interesting. I wonder how that works. I'll have to check into that. Thank you guys. Well, we're gonna close this for now, though. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know, Steph. I don't know how that works. We'll close it for now. And thank you guys for being here. I'm so grateful. We had 3 to 5 people, which is wonderful. Perhaps I should create a day and a time each week when I will do a live stream to answer English learning questions. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll leave this on full unedited version here on YouTube, and I will take it and make minis or shorts out of each particular thing here. All right. Take care. Teacher Steph, thank you for being here. Anas, thank you. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.